Hello, everyone, and welcome to the A&B podcast, where two regular chaps just chat about all the entertainment news that's been happening in the last week. I'm Alex Winfield, and I'm joined by Birkin Dumanley.
Hello, everybody.
So, Birkin, how have you been?
I've been all right, my friend, in lockdown.
Living the indoor
The
dreams.
indoor dream, yeah, you know it. How about yourself?
Great, man. I've been seeing the sights of my back garden.
Mm-hmm.
I've been seeing the sights of I don't know, just some squirrel that keeps falling out of my tree, all that kind of stuff.
Fab.
It's been great.
Speaking of, actually, what's a good idea is that you could always print out locations and put it on your window.
Do like a green screen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, amazing. Have you had this? Have you been using this time to catch up on anything at all, like a film or a TV show or anything like that?
I've mainly just been watching some old stuff, really, just reminiscing of the past life that we used to live.
You sound like some Hindu reincarnation stuff.
You know,
My past life when I was a goat.
yeah, you know it.
That sounds entertaining, but very existential.
You know it. How about yourself?
Well, I mean, I've been talking to you about it. I've been using this time to watch all the old Bond movies,
Yes,
as we were meant to get No Time to Die this month, and I'd never seen like the original ones, so I've been enjoying, Sean Connery just forcing himself on women and people exploding and all the terrible stuff people did to each other back in the 60s. That is quite funny now, but in a terrible way.
Oh yes, those movies have not aged well.
I sent you a clip of it when I was watching Live and Let Die last night, and that movie is really good, and I really enjoyed it. But the ending was incredible when they're setting up like the bad guy's going to get eaten by like a shark, but instead James Bond puts like this inflatable bullet in his mouth. The guy inflates like a bouncy castle, shoots up into the ceiling, and explodes. And I'll never forget my brother's face. He had just. Literally, my face. I was like, "What am I? Is this like a parody? Has someone snuck the parody version in? I thought this was like a joke."
That's the thing, isn't it? When you look back on them, they do come across very like satire-like.
Oh, it was hilarious, but I think there's no way you put that in and you're like, yeah, we're taking this very seriously. This project. It was something. It was a real experience. But in the world of movie news, quite a lot happened in the last few days. It was a bit quiet over the beginnings of the week, but then it really kind of picked up. The big thing that I'm quite excited about is that we got a film coming out in December called Dune. I don't know how the hell you pronounce it.
I think it's Dune.
It's a new film by Denis Villeneuve. I don't know how you say that name either, but he's the guy who made Prisoners, Arrival, and my favorite film of 2017, Blade Runner 2049, as well as more such as Enemy and Sicario. Yeah, Enemy's very underrated, I think.
Yeah, it's a fantastic film.
Yeah, lots of spider porn.
You know it. Jeez.
Yeah. So Dune is an adaptation of a science fiction novel written by Frank Herbert in 1965. IMDb's summary of it says it's about the son of a noble family entrusted with the protection of the most valuable asset and most vital element in the galaxy. Footage has been shown behind closed doors, and people have said it's basically going to be the next Star Wars and Lord of the Rings, in that it's the next big cinematic epic. And it's like it's insane how many people are in this movie. I didn't even realize how many people were in this movie until these pictures came out that have just been released. So the cast includes Timothée Chalamet, Oscar Isaac, Zendaya, Rebecca Ferguson, Josh Brolin, Dave Bautista, Jason Momoa, Javier Bardem, Stellan Skarsgård, and more. Have you seen the pictures that have recently just come out?
I have, yes.
What did you think of them?
They're very intriguing. They've got this weird, like, nostril thing on them.
Nostril thing?
Yeah, I don't know what you call it.
Oh,
weird
for
pipe.
a second, I didn't know what you meant. Oh, yes. Yeah, it's like, you have like those oxygen tank things hooked up to your nose. It looks like one of those.
Yeah, it's very weird.
I don't know I know nothing about the book. I know like David Lynch, I think, did a version of it back in the 80s, which I haven't seen. Because I'm trying to keep myself clear from as many story details as possible. I want to go in as cold as possible, like I did with Blade Runner. But yeah, it looks very unique.
Yes,
it looks really interesting.
That's the thing. Like you were saying, how it was apparently lined up to be the next Star Wars Lord of the Rings. That's not like, anything small that they're comparing this to.
Exactly, yeah. What I'm excited about, it looks like they're taking the scale and the physicality of like Star Wars, the physical locations they shot in and all that kind of stuff,
Hmm.
with the kind of the adult filmic authorship that Denis Villeneuve brought to things like Blade Runner.
Yes.
Blade Runner felt very adult, and it felt very you could feel that there was someone who had this wasn't made as like a little throwaway thing just for money. You could tell that there was a lot of passion put into it,
Yeah.
and that's why I will watch anything this guy makes, because I think all of the films he's made are amazing. I know some people think he's slightly overrated, which I guess I could kind of get, because so I think his films tread the line of pretentiousness perfectly, where they never cross the line.
Yes. Yes. That's the thing. I
For me
mean,
at least.
I personally also like him. I think he's one of the best directors out there. But like you say, where everybody thinks like, yeah, this person might be overrated, but it is 2020. Like, who doesn't think who isn't overrated anymore? Like at the end
Exactly,
of it.
yeah.
But like, I was also
It's either we stand this person or we cancel this one.
yeah, exactly. And like, I was looking actually at the people he works with, and I think it's his third or second time working with Josh Brolin now. Like, he likes to use the same actors quite a lot.
Yeah, I know he definitely used him in Sicario.
Hmm.
Yeah, and who else? I think he's worked with like some of the biggest stars in Hollywood.
Yeah.
That's what's so bad. I think, and it looks like this film got the cast it did purely from the fact that he's attached to directing it.
Hmm.
But the photos look insane. The photos show Timothy Chalamet, who's playing the main character, Oscar Isaac, who's playing his dad, Rebecca Ferguson, who plays his mum, as well as Zendaya,
Zendaya.
Josh Brolin, Jason Momoa, and Javier Bardem.
Javier Bardem.
Um,
That's the thing,
yeah,
because Jason Momoa said that apparently he's playing like a Han Solo-esque character.
yeah, he looks kind of like from the what I saw at least, he looks like he's playing some kind of ninja kind of figure with that big staff that he has.
Hmm.
Yeah, and just the suit Oscar Isaac's wearing and like the beard and all that, it just looks so cool. But I will say, Rebecca Ferguson, one of the pictures, looks so much like good old our favorite character, Palpatine.
Amazing.
Did you see the one where she's like it's all dark and she's got the big black hood on, and
Yeah,
she's got her bone structure's mad. She's it's crazy. So I'm like, this person, this is Palpatine's granddaughter. Get out of here, Ray. This is the real deal.
a real deal. Brilliant. Oh, yeah.
No, but I can't wait to see. And what I think what's really nice about it is that it's really nice to hear about movies that are actually coming out this year,
Hmm.
and it's nice for once that we have something to look forward to, because the last few months everything's been, oh, this isn't happening now. We don't know when this is coming out. You were excited for this, Sykes, it's no longer happening. This has been pushed back a whole year, so it's nice that we have something where it's like, okay, we can actually look forward to this, and we're actually seeing marketing for something. Whereas all the films that were meant to be coming out this summer, all the marketing stopped, so we're in like this dead air kind
Hmm.
of space.
The thing is, where with this movie coming out, the thing that makes me most excited for it is that it isn't like a prequel or a sequel to an already existing franchise or a franchise that
Yeah,
existed 30 years ago or whatever. It's its own
yeah,
complete new thing. Like, granted, it is
yeah,
adapted from a book, but it's got potential to be its own unique thing.
definitely. And I think even with Blade Runner 2049, even though that was a sequel, it was very much like a film.
Hmm.
It had a beginning, a middle, and an end, and it didn't try to set up anything.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, which I think is nice. It's nice to see people putting all their effort into just the one project and then maybe take it from
Yeah,
there.
it's a little
You know,
exhausting where everything tries to create a universe.
yeah, a universe, or tries to set up a sequel, or tries to like leave a bunch of loose ends open that
Yeah.
could happen in a sequel, all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, but it's definitely in like my top 3 most anticipated films of the year, and I know literally next to nothing about it. It's purely just that world mixed with Denis Villeneuve. I'm
Yes.
That's what's got me excited about it.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm going to try and see it on the biggest screen I can. That's what I did with Blade Runner. And I wasn't even the biggest fan of the first one, but that second one, I knew that I wanted to see that on like the biggest screen with the best sound ever.
See,
And I remember when Blade Runner 2049 ended, and everyone just kind of sat there, like didn't get out of their chair for like a solid minute. You know
see, I remember my lecturer once telling me that the original Blade Runner was never edited.
what?
Yes, exactly. That makes no sense.
What does that even mean?
So he means that it was shot on camera and then put into the editing suite, and the way they shot it was the way it came out, which makes no sense considering this is a movie with like special effects and stuff.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if there's like even a title sequence,
Yep.
then it's been edited.
Yes.
If the audio syncs up with what the actors are saying, then it's been edited.
Yep. Yeah, this guy was a lecturer in a film class.
I don't know. I think sometimes people get a bit carried away with themselves
A
when
little
it comes
bit.
to these kind of things.
A
Just
little
a
bit.
little bit. And the fact there's been how many different? There's been at least 3, 4 different cuts of this
Yes.
film.
Which is even
But
more
no,
ironic to the fact that it hasn't been edited, apparently.
yeah, it's dumb.
Yeah.
But speaking of adaptations of books, Martin Scorsese, everyone's favorite Marty, he's run into a bit of a struggle with his new projects. So Scorsese's new project is going to be an adaptation of the book Killers of the Flower Moon, written by author David Gran. It sounds super interesting. It involves members of the Osage tribe in the US being murdered under mysterious circumstances, and it takes place in the 1920s, sparking like this major FBI investigation involving J. Edgar Hoover.
Mm.
The film stars both Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro, so I think this is the first time where he's used both his big guys in the same movie.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's not clear who Leonardo DiCaprio is going to be playing, but it's interesting that DiCaprio uh, played J. Edgar Hoover in a movie previously, just
Yes.
a few years ago, called J. Edgar, and now he's in another movie featuring J. Edgar Hoover. I think it's going to be odd in both scenarios if he does or doesn't play him, you know?
Depends on how old Edgar is meant to be at that time period.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. Um, I love Scorsese. I love all of his work. I really enjoyed The Irishman,
Mhm.
but he's run into an issue here that he ran into with The Irishman, in that Scorsese's asking for $200 million.
Jesus.
Bear in mind, The Irishman was almost 200 million, but a huge chunk of that was the de aging CGI. This movie,
Oh.
as far as we know, doesn't have that. So Paramount, who worked with Scorsese on films
Mm-hmm.
such as Wolf of Wall Street and Silence, has actually passed on it due to the project having a constantly increasing budget. So it's leading Scorsese to have meetings with companies such as Netflix and Apple about funding the project. However, people are saying Netflix may also pass on it because it's another hugely expensive project. And the last one they did, The Irishman, it made little to no money because even though it got put in cinemas, it was only for like even just a few weeks. And the way Netflix works is that they don't really make their money back. They buy
Mm-hmm.
films to add a level of I guess of prestige to their service, so more people will purchase the Netflix subscription. So
Mm-hmm.
can they risk doing that again with another $200 million project? So it's looking like what a lot of people are saying is that Apple might fund the project. However, he could also run into an issue there because Apple's streaming platform is decidedly TV based. It's called Apple TV Plus after all.
Mm-hmm.
So who really knows what the outcome of this is going to be? But what do you think of this? Are you looking forward to this? And do you think 200 million is a bit much for a period piece movie?
Um, Personally, I love Scorsese's films, and I'm always down for a gangster flick of some kind.
Yeah.
Um, so personally, I don't think it's that much, considering that this is a man with an amazing track record, and you know for a fact that this man, at the very least, you will get a movie which is like a B plus. Like He's never made a movie, in my opinion, that's been lower than a B. Like, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not that much. Like, Scorsese is a legend in the industry, and compared to some other trash you might find on Netflix, come on, like,
right. There is a catch to that though. Although I agree with you, Martin Scorsese is like one of the best directors out there.
mhm,
Um, his last film, The Irishman, they were hoping that that was going to get a whole bunch of maybe Oscar wins, and it got nominated a bunch, but it didn't win anything. And The Wolf of Wall Street, even though loads of people talk about it now, it didn't even make 400 million at the box office. It was made for like over 100 million, and barely scraped over its money, because movies have to make their money back, and it barely just scrapes over that. So even though he's well regarded in the film world, and he's kind of like a well-known name, his movies aren't making as much money as people think. So it's one of those things where, do you sacrifice all this money for a movie that's really good? It's a situation like that.
it's also because the industry is now kind of like more aimed at, I'd say, like a teenage kid kind of audience, if that makes sense. Like, obviously,
Yeah,
predominantly dominated by your Marvel movies, your Harry Potters, that kind of stuff. That, that 12A, that PG-13 area. So it's
yeah.
very hard for a movie which is a 15 or an 18 or an R to make money, but it's always kind of been that aspect.
Yeah, because $200 million is like standard for something, yeah, like a Marvel movie. But when it's a film set in the 1920s
Mhm.
about an FBI investigation with, Native Americans, this situation that not a lot of people know about, involving characters that people, I guess, our age don't really like. People our age don't really know who J. Edgar Hoover are. People our age barely really even know who Martin Scorsese is. Like, we know because I guess we pay attention to the film world a lot. But my girlfriend, for example, didn't know who Scorsese was until I started talking about him to her. So it's an interesting one. Like, can you really afford to put $200 million into this period piece movie just about that's like a crime investigation? I mean, as far as I know, a spaceship doesn't pop up and shoot laser beams all over the place. So I don't know how 200 million can warrant that. It's definitely an interesting one. On IMDb, at least, it says that movie's not going to be until like 2021. So they've still got some
Okay,
time, I guess, to
that's
figure
still
it out. That's a film that's coming out next year. This is a film that we're going to be talking about now that's coming out next month.
Mhm.
We finally have something that we could look forward to here.
Yeah.
I was talking about with Dune, that's still like over half a year away. This is a film that's going to be out next month. Not in cinemas, of course, but it's like we can actually kind of look forward to. So the trailer for Tom Hardy's new movie Capone has been released. The movie is about a 47-year-old Al Capone after 10 years in prison, starting to suffer from dementia, and comes to be haunted by his violent past. That's what IMDb summarizes it as. This movie was actually meant to come out in 2018.
Mm.
Yeah, the film was shot in 2018, and then it just kind of went silent. There were loads of theories and videos on the internet I remember seeing on YouTube saying, what happened to this film? Are we ever going to get it? I think a lot of people just assumed it wasn't going to happen. But literally out of nowhere, a trailer dropped out of the sky, announcing that the film's like, here it is, it's coming out next month. It comes out May 12th, 2020. There is a catch, however. The film is being directed by Josh Trank, who brought us the 2015 Fantastic Four. Now, I'm actually on Trank's side because I know there was a lot of drama between him and Fox,
Mhm.
and I really liked his last film, Chronicle. But there's no denying that that version of Fantastic Four was
Forgettable.
it wasn't gold bar standard. Let's say that. But I know you took a look at the trailer right before we started recording.
Yes.
What did you think? Are you looking forward to this?
Personally, like, I'm always down for a good biopic, and I love like Al Capone and everything like that. I'm a bit of a history buff and stuff. But like, my main concern is that if you had told me that you were making a movie on Al Capone, I never would have said, "Let's go get Tom Hardy."
Yeah,
Like, don't get me wrong, I love Tom Hardy, but I never thought he'd be Al Capone.
yeah, yeah. Do you think he pulls off the look?
I think he looks like him a little bit, um,
Mm.
but I think maybe you could have got someone else. But again, we can't really judge too much until we've seen him in the role because in the trailer he doesn't really speak much.
It's a lot of him glaring into the camera, isn't it?
Yeah, he just
I
looks at
do
the camera a lot.
as much as I really like Tom Hardy. I do like this is now this is another film that's going to be entered into the saga of Tom Hardy and a weird voice. You know?
It's also he does a lot of gangster movies.
Yeah. Are you gonna check this out when it comes out next
Yeah, I
month?
will. I'm more than happy to. Yeah, I'm more than happy to
Yeah,
check this out.
I'm interested to see if also if Chronicle is like a one hit wonder because I think
Hmm.
this will really speak a lot to Josh Trank. Like if this stinks, then it's going to be like, oh, okay, maybe there wasn't as much involvement with Fox as we thought. But if it comes out and it's really good, then it's going to be like, oh, okay, Fox really did kind of mess with that film a bit, you know?
It's mainly between if it flops, then he's really going to get no calls. If it does well, then his phone is going to be ringing.
Yeah, it's unfortunately it's in like a bit of a sticky situation in that it's going to be VOD. It's not
Yeah.
coming out in cinemas. I mean, it has to. I think they might be masking it though,
Hmm.
because this film went silent for 2 years. Maybe they were deciding is this going to go straight to VOD or is this going to cinemas? And I think this is their way of hiding it. Like, well, we'll put it out on VOD, but we're not going to tell anyone that it was always meant to always go to VOD.
Hmm. Hmm.
But I'm definitely interested in checking it out though, because like I said, yeah, I love Tom Hardy and I like a good gangster movie, and
Yes.
that's what this looks like it might be. We're moving into the TV news now.
Okay.
Disney Plus's MCU shows. A whole lot of them have now got release. When I say release dates, as in like we know what year they're going to be coming out. But first, the Hawkeye TV show, which is meant to be coming out in 2021, has now been pushed to 2022. And we now know that She-Hulk, Ms. Marvel, and Moon Knight are also going to be coming out in 2022. I don't know if this means that these are in phase 4 or if they're in phase 5, because Hawkeye was meant to be in phase 4, but now if he's pushed to 2022, does that make it phase 5? It's all a bit strange. But what do you think of this? Are you looking forward to these shows? I know you're looking forward to Hawkeye.
Oh, I am looking forward to Hawkeye. That boy deserves some respect, man. I love Hawkeye as a character. I am excited for Moon Knight. I think that's going to be
That's the
something.
one I'm the most interested in. Yeah,
She-Hulk, I think, could be exciting.
She-Hulk like is definitely not what I was expecting at all for them to announce. I just hope it doesn't feel too derivative. You know,
Hmm. Hmm.
um, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what they're like, seeing how they're going to present it. That's what I'm the most interested in, like how they're actually going to portray these characters. But yeah, the Moon Knight one is the one that I'm by far the most interested in because it's
Yes.
so weird. It's such a weird thing. Doesn't Moon Knight have like PTSD as well?
Yeah. See, that's the same reason why out of the ones which are coming out, I think it's this year, I'm most excited for the Scarlet Witch and Vision one because,
WandaVision, yeah,
yeah, because it
because that looks
just,
really weird.
I love it. I think it looks so cool because it's meant to be on her mind, has isn't it? So, and
It
like,
looks like it,
if
yeah.
you've ever read the comics, she goes batshit crazy. Oh, I love it. I'm so excited for it.
Apparently, the whole concept is that you find out why she's called the Scarlet Witch
Hmm.
in that show. And speaking of that's like another small little bit of news. Scarlet Witch, as we know, is going to be in Doctor Strange 2.
Yes.
And Sam Raimi has now confirmed that he's going to be directing Doctor Strange 2,
Fantastic.
which so excited.
Very, very
Like
excited.
that's out of phase 4, that's definitely the one I'm the most interested in.
Same here, right here.
By far. Back to TV news, a show that took over the world recently. I haven't watched it, but I know you have.
Yes.
Tiger King, a new episode. Has it come out?
Yes. So
I'm not in the world of it. Have you seen it?
I have, yeah, I watched it the other day. Basically, the new episode is hosted by Joel McHale. I love Joel McHale. And basically, it's him kind of doing like a podcasty interview with some of the people who are on the show and just getting their thoughts on the new buzz around the show, any new information that might have happened in regards to Joe Exotic, and just how their lives might have changed with the show being so popular.
So it's different to like the other episodes,
Yeah, so it's very
as in
different.
like structure wise and all
It's
that.
more of like an after show where like he asks the people on the show how they felt they were portrayed and stuff like that.
Okay.
I still
Did
really
you
enjoyed
feed
it.
your husband to that tiger?
A lot of them do think she did, yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
I do too. I do too. But yeah, it's just genuinely, I really enjoyed it. Like, I mean, you could argue it didn't really need to exist, but like,
I mean, does anything really need to exist if
like
you think
with the
about it?
time period we're living in, I'll take
Yeah.
something new for the sake of just having something new, because
Now, were they always going to make this, or did they kind of jump on the hype of what the show was?
I
Because I
think
don't think anyone expected the show to be as big as it was. And have they just quickly made this in like a week or something to jump
I
on the
think
hype
so.
wagon?
We might have ended up getting this anyway, because Netflix has now got this trend where they do after shows for shows anyway. But yeah, I don't think it was
Okay.
expected to be as big as it was. And at that point, with Joel McHale being in the house, um, he was like,
Mm.
yeah. So he just decided to host the after show, and I think they just jumped on the fan craze. And Joel McHale at the end of it makes this joke about how he'll be here for the next documentary series in the next pandemic or something like that. Uh,
Okay.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that what? So they like reference the
Yeah,
coronavirus.
he does. He does.
Oh
Like,
right.
yeah,
So is
not a
this all
lot.
done like over? Is the whole? Are they in the same room, or is this all filmed over
No,
Skype?
it's
Like
all
what?
filmed over
What is it?
Skype. It's all filmed over Skype.
Oh right. I was gonna ask that. How did they all manage to
Yeah,
get them all like in one
no, no,
room?
it's filmed over Skype. It's John
They're all
McHale from
spaced
his
out.
bedroom. It's quite funny, actually. But yeah, he's basically sat in his
Just the tiger
bedroom.
comes in.
Yeah,
He's sat
but,
on his tiger, just like hello.
yeah. But no,
Yeah.
I liked it. I enjoyed it. It might just be because I do have a soft spot for Joel. Like I said, I'm a huge
Mm.
Community fan, so just in regards to that,
Cool, man. I'm glad. Well, I'm glad that people. I definitely do need to watch it.
yeah, I do.
I'm finally watching the new season of Ozark right
Uh
now.
huh. Uh-huh.
I'm really enjoying that. But Tiger King is one of those things where I do need to watch it. I think my girlfriend is literally messaging me all 24/7. Please watch this show. You know
I just haven't watched it actually.
what Ozark?
Yeah, I just heard it was like
For
Breaking
a second,
Bad.
I thought you'd talk about Tiger King. I
No,
still
I've
haven't watched
seen
it.
that. No, Ozark, Ozark.
Yeah, Ozark's good. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I
Um,
need to get around to it.
Imagine, okay, so take Breaking Bad, right?
Hmm.
But you remove all the fun and you just add more misery.
Okay.
That's Ozark. Just
Yeah, it
one
does
thing,
look.
as soon as one thing goes right, two more things go wrong. And you're just like,
The
this
color
is the
palette
most.
looks very dim for it.
So there's a lot of blue. There's a
Yeah.
lot of blue. There are times where I'm like, oh mate, the color grader inside me. I'm just like, mate, that face, those skin tones though. What are you doing? But
Maybe they just
I
got.
know it's
Maybe they decided
intentional.
to take some inspiration from Zack Schneider.
Yeah, the Snyder cut of Ozark. Yeah,
You know.
yeah. Well, let's move into your world, the
Yes.
stuff that you'll be covering. We'll move into, I guess, the game news. I'll let you
Yes.
take it away from here.
So, all right, we've got some video game news, and before we get into that, have you been playing anything recently?
Well, I've been recently. I finally dove into the Resident Evil franchise because that's something
Mhm.
I've been wanting to get into for a really long time now. But similar to Metal Gear Solid, like that's something I've been wanting to get
Yes.
into. But there's so much, like it goes back so far to like such old games
Yes.
where it's like, oh, how do I really get into this, you know? Because there was Resident Evil 1, I know has been like remade, but 2 and 3 hadn't. And then there was like, it was basically, I was like, how am I going to get into this franchise?
Mhm.
Because there was a bunch of side stories as well. I know they did. But when Resident Evil 2 got announced, I was like, yeah, I definitely want to give that a go. But I was waiting for it to sort of go down in price just in case it wasn't my thing.
Mhm.
And I got Resident Evil 2 recently because it was going for like less than 20 quid on the PlayStation Store. I think that's because they wanted people to get it before the third one came out. And I've played through it like 3 times in a week now. I'm borderline obsessed with it. I love it.
Isn't
I really enjoy it.
Hasn't Resident Evil gone through a lot of identity like changes with the way the game is set out?
Yeah, so I know like the first 3 were very survival horror-esque,
Mhm.
and then 4 is when it starts to get a bit actiony, but people still really like 4. And then I think 5 and 6 is when they went overboard with the action and people
Yeah.
weren't a fan of that. And then the new one, 7, and
Right.
apparently 8, which is going to get announced soon. Apparently they go back to, they've kind of reinvented it to go back to horror with like a first person type mode.
Okay. Okay.
But 7, I mean, no, not 7, 2, this new 2 remake is very, very much survival horror. It's very much survival horror. I've yet to play 3. I really want to, but from all the reviews I've heard, is that it's amazing, but it's really short.
Mhm.
And it's not worth, I guess, the 50 quid asking price. So I'm going to wait for that to go down a bit first,
Yeah, yeah.
and then I'll pick it up. That I've also been trying to I've been diving back into Assassin's Creed Origins just to kind of dick about because I do enjoy that franchise probably more than I should. What about you?
I'm late on the bandwagon because Basically, I'm now playing Star Wars Fallen Order. Um,
That's another one I definitely want to jump onto when I
the
get the
reason why I'm
chance.
so late to it is because before this, I had Death Stranding, and that took me a good 3 months to finish because I dived quite deeply into that. Weirdly, the most relevant probably game right now to our reality.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, no, I've been playing Fallen Order. At first, I couldn't really get into it because obviously I'm playing this after the sequel trilogy, and the sequel trilogy was, a bit disappointing. So it kind of
Mm.
killed my interest in Star Wars for a bit. But the game is now slowly picking back up, so I am enjoying that.
From what I've heard, people seem to be liking this more than like even the more recent movies and stuff. It's definitely
Yes,
has a really cool premise to it from what I've
yeah,
seen.
the game is definitely better than any of the new sequel trilogy movies, I would say.
Mm.
Which is quite funny considering that you'd think the movies would get it right and the game would get it wrong.
Right. How's the main guy? How's his
Oh,
name's Cal or
Cal. Yeah,
something, isn't
Cal's
it?
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind Cal. He's a better protagonist than Ray. I can tell you that much. Uh, but yeah,
What
no.
have you got lightsaber wise? I know you can like make your own
So
lightsaber,
yeah,
can't
you
you?
can change your color of your lightsaber and anything like that. I personally use the orange one just because it's a bit different.
Orange lightsaber
Yeah,
to
it's a
match
bit
his hair.
different. Yeah, you know it. Yeah, 100%. But yeah, it's just a little different. I think it gives him a little bit more personality. Um,
I've never even seen an orange lightsaber. I
Neither
mean,
had
I
I.
only just saw yellow, just in the Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah,
I
no.
didn't even know yellow
I
was a
think
thing.
you're. I don't know. I haven't got far enough, but I think you can end up choosing any other color. Um,
I know you can get it. You can get it double. You can pull a Darth Maul and
yes,
get it
yeah,
out
you
like
can get a double lightsaber. But funnily enough, about that, I've spoken to three other people, and they've all found the double lightsaber in different places to where I did,
oh right.
which
So
is
it's like a
very
story thing.
intriguing. Yeah, like
Okay.
the story is still linear, but you can find the
Hmm.
dual lightsaber on a different planet, and for everybody, it's been on a different planet that I've spoken to,
Okay.
which is
That's
quite funny
interesting.
because I found it on the first planet, but my friends and everything have found it on the third or fourth planet.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
I've been
I
crossing it.
definitely want to jump into it.
Yeah, I definitely
Yeah, it's
recommend it.
definitely on my list. Yeah.
Definitely recommend it. Speaking of Resident Evil, actually, recent
Yes.
announcement is that Resident Evil 4 is being remade. What are your thoughts on
Yeah.
this?
Well, like I said, yeah, I'm absolutely loving two. I'm really can't wait to get into three and four. Is I think I remember lots of people saying, but way before I started playing these games. A lot of people say four is like the fan favorite.
Mm-hmm.
It's like two and four are like the big ones, and I saw a lot of people saying that they don't even want four to be remade because they think it's like perfect as it is. Apparently, it's coming out in like 2022 is when it's supposed to be released.
Okay, so still
I'm
a
definitely
while
interested
away.
in it. What I've seen of the original is that it's really kind of quite strange. Like you go into like this weird, like European looking village, and everyone there is just a bit messed up. I haven't seen any like zombies in it yet.
I mean, I think I played a little bit of 4. It was definitely a lot different to the previous games in the series.
You can roundhouse
Like,
kick people. That's about
yeah,
as far as I know.
like, but like you said, people did enjoy it, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that one plays out.
Yeah, I'm definitely like I would like them to make the first one with the I know that's probably like blasphemy to a lot of people, but I'd love for
Mhm.
them to make the first one with the technology they have now because I know like the fixed camera angle thing is like a big part of that game, but I found it very intrusive almost like it kind of got in the way a lot of the time. I mean, Until Dawn like pulled it off,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but I don't know. I mean, that's what I'd really like them to make like that first one with this new technology. But yeah,
Alrighty,
I'm looking forward to it though.
it should be exciting. And in terms of Until Dawn, Supermassive are now back with the sequel to Man of Medan in their Dark Pictures anthology, The Little Hope, or as some would say, Little Hope. The recent trailer dropped. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, yeah. Well, we wanted to shout this one out because we know someone who's actually worked on it and works on it.
Yes.
Our good friend of the show, Shona.
Yes. Shout out.
um, yeah, she worked on a lot of the cutscenes, and a lot of them are in the trailer, and it looks really good. I love Until Dawn. It's
Yes.
a
Same.
really good. It's the game where if I'm with people who don't even know games all that well, I'll
Mhm.
stick it on because it's like it's a good it's a good sort of way in for a lot of people to interact. It's like it's such a new way of interacting with a story.
Yeah.
Like I know we've had choose your own adventure type stuff before,
Yes.
but in a way that it's like it's almost like in a self-aware, campy cabin in the woods type film. I haven't played. I know the Dark Pictures anthology. That's like another thing they've done. I know they've done a few other little short
Yeah. So
story type things. Yeah,
after the whole Until Dawn stuff, basically, Sony didn't end up buying the company or anything like that, or didn't get them to make a sequel to Until Dawn. They still own that IP; it's still owned by Sony. So they went
right.
and signed a contract with, I think it was Namco Bandai, and that's when they came up with the Dark trilogy anthology, um, the Dark Pictures anthology. And the first game was Man of Medan. It took place on a ship. The game was all right. It wasn't as like amazing as like Until Dawn was. That's mainly because Until Dawn wasn't even marketed well. It was just a sleeper hit because it did so well via YouTubers and everything.
Yeah, I didn't hear about Until Dawn until I started hearing about it like on podcasts and stuff after
Yeah,
it had come
because
out.
originally Until Dawn was meant to come out on the PlayStation 3 and it was going to be played with a
That's
Move
what I heard.
controller. Yeah,
Yeah, and
and
yeah.
it got pushed back to PS4, and thank goodness. And it still had the Move aspect to it, but like
Mm,
I'm more happy with what we ended up with. And like I said, the Little Hope does look a lot better than Man of Medan. I'm hoping it's longer because Man of Medan, I think, lacked length and it also lacked, like, compared to Until Dawn, there wasn't as many different choices, in my opinion.
mm,
But I
yeah,
am excited for it because I do like Supermassive as a studio. Like, so I'm hoping
yeah.
it does
And
well.
involves it's about like witches and stuff as well, isn't it? Which I
Yeah,
think's really kind of cool. I think that's really cool. And I think it's probably longer because I mean they probably worked on Until Dawn for like so much longer. And if this is meant to be like an anthology series, it makes sense for there to be a bit shorter. But no, I'll definitely check it out purely just
yes,
to support the people who made Until Dawn and also
of
support
course, of
my friend
course.
because I can't. It must be. I can't even imagine how you work or we work on stuff like that. It's bad.
Well, yeah, it's the thing. There's so much work and effort goes into that. Yeah, no, I'm very excited for it, just like you, and I'm hoping uh, that won't be delayed, and we'll actually get that compared to a lot of other games.
Yeah. Well, now the trailer's come out now, I think that's a good sign that it is probably going to come out.
Yes. Speaking of, with the virus and everything, PlayStation has recently launched a play at home initiative. This is two free games which are giving away for free. That's right, for free, folks. Which is the Uncharted Collection and Journey. These are free to download from April the 15th to May the 5th. Now, I know that technically, I believe Uncharted Collection was given away before through PS Plus, and I think Journey might have been as well. I'm not 100% sure on that one. But what
Yeah.
are your thoughts?
Well, it's interesting that the whole Uncharted series is free to buy right now because Uncharted 4 is like included with PS Plus this month.
Yes.
So you could just get all of those insanely triple A, probably one of the best franchises in gaming history. You could just get it for free.
Yes.
Um, that's mad. And yeah, Journey, I do think was on PS Plus a few, like maybe even a year ago, because I own it, like, but I haven't
Fair
played it
enough.
yet.
That's
I
the thing,
own it, but I haven't played
I
it.
know that a lot of people have complained because they're like, "Oh, you already released these. We already own them and everything." But at the same time, like they didn't have to do this. Like,
Yeah, is this included with PS Plus? Because
yeah,
or is this just free to anyone?
yeah. I believe it's free to anyone. It's not just PS Plus.
Okay,
Yeah, I think it's
yeah, that's
just
good.
something they've done just to help people stay at home, that kind of thing. Which I
Yeah,
do appreciate. And like you said, like Uncharted is a fantastic series, and
yeah,
like okay, yeah, they did give them away on Plus, and anybody who really owns a PlayStation has probably already played the series. But again,
because that was yeah the big names of that
yeah,
platform.
like even with that, it's still kind of nice to have something given away for free.
And it's not just that; that's 4 games.
Yes,
That's 4 games that they're giving away for free.
that's the entire like story.
Yeah, and also I know other these like PlayStation. I know like Ubisoft, for example, through UPlay, like they're giving away stuff like Assassin's Creed 2 for free
Yes,
to play.
I believe
So yeah,
Square Enix is also doing the same.
Oh, what are they giving away? Do you know?
I can't remember what they're giving away. I think it was one of the Tomb Raiders. Um,
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure, but I know they were giving away quite a couple of games or something.
I need to finish that new Tomb Raider trilogy. I've got 1 and 2, but I haven't got the third one.
I did. I played one and two. I got towards the end of the second one, and there's this particular boss battle, and I can't do it, so I just gave up. No, I just claimed that I had completed it. I claim I've done it. I just didn't
Just
bother.
watch the ending on
Yeah,
YouTube.
literally. Like I was like, I'm gonna claim I've done it, and I'll just play the third one at some point.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
That was like I remember that was the big one when because I had the first one on the 360 and then they did like that big like almost like a remake for the PS4 just a few months later,
Yes.
and I was like, whoa, technology! They were like, you could see every strand on Lara's head.
That series has really like changed from what it was.
Yeah, that was the weird one, wasn't it? It's kind of like Lara Croft kind of came out before Uncharted,
Yes.
but now there's lots of Uncharted elements in Lara Croft
Yeah.
now, you know, which only makes sense. But I mean, they do their own thing with it, which is
Yeah,
nice.
the both games are very different, but like they do have the same themes. I personally prefer the Uncharted series over it, just because I like a little bit of humor in my games, and Lara doesn't really crack any jokes or any one-liners. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, like I say, they are different in their own way, and they're both
I just
fun to
remember
play.
the brutal death scenes in that first one in particular.
Oof, yeah,
That was the one that caught me off guard. Like when you died, it was like you fully saw it,
yeah,
and I was like, "Oh Jesus, what have I done to this poor woman? What am I, James Bond?"
amazing. Right. In terms of newer releases, Ghost of Tsushima, Sony's exclusive, made by Sucker Punch Games or Studios,
Mm.
um, who are the guys who made Infamous. If you've ever played that series,
I
uh,
played Second Son, and I loved that one.
yeah, Second Son's a good game. Yes, they're completely making a new IP, Ghost of Tsushima, as we know about, and they have revealed that there will be no waypoint system in this game, and your allies will turn on you depending on your actions.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
So when you say like no waypoint,
yeah.
is that going to be like so? There's no way to navigate.
So
Like there's no mini
apparently,
map or anything like that.
I don't know if it's going to be a setting or not, but apparently the way they want you to play it is to remember landmarks on the map
Right.
and use your memory to decide which way or where you have to go,
Okay.
or alternatively use the map that the game comes with.
Oh, could you imagine?
Yeah, it's tedious. It's tedious, but I like it.
Yeah, I kind of respect it. Yeah, maybe if it was like a setting, I could understand. I don't
Yeah.
know if that was mandatory. I wouldn't know because I know. Well, like I said, I'm also replaying Assassin's Creed
Yes.
Origins, and they have like the compass system that Skyrim has at the top.
Mhm.
But in the settings, there is like an immersive mode where you switch that on and it turns that stuff off.
Yeah.
If it was like that, I can Yeah, that's
So
I can
I don't
definitely
know
see
if
that.
it's a setting or not. I don't think they've revealed it, but it is
Yeah.
an interesting move to try and make it a little bit more interactive.
Mm. Maybe it's going to be similar to that of Shadow of the Colossus, where you very much have to kind of remember where you're going, type thing.
Yeah, I
You
think it
become
might be.
familiar with where you are.
There's going to be a lot of
Yeah,
people getting lost. I can tell you that.
and
But
when they say that allies are going to turn
yeah,
on you, depending on your actions, does that mean like if you like neglect them, or if you turn on them, they turn on you, or
I think what they were saying is something to do with the neglecting thing, but also like, say if you're doing a side quest for someone, and then you went and did a side quest for someone else, you might not know that they didn't like that person, and then
okay,
they'll get back to them, and then they'll betray you or something like that.
so almost like a telltale thing,
Yeah, I think
you
they're
know?
doing that kind of style to it, but like,
Mm,
not everybody that you make allies with will be your ally or will remain your ally, which I think
yeah.
is kind of interesting. Because usually when you just like recruit people, they're just there forever. It's never like I'm not like gonna team up with you anymore or anything like that. But
Mm.
like, I'm very excited for this game, and I personally believe like I know you've got your Cyberpunks coming out. I know you've got your Last of Us coming out. I think this game is a dark hole, like a dark horse for Game of the Year.
I thought you said Dark Whore then, but
Dark horse for Game of the Year.
but no, it definitely is. I'm not. Thing is though, I can't get too excited because I know in the back of my head it's probably going to get delayed.
Oh,
If Last of Us is getting delayed, this I don't know. I
the
can't
thing
see how it won't
it's
get delayed.
scheduled for June, I think.
Yeah, it was meant to come out like less than a month after The Last of Us, but I
Yeah.
feel like it can't come out too late because why would they release like because if the PS5 actually does come out this year, say it comes out in November, could they couldn't really I mean they could put it out in November, but I feel like they would probably sell more copies like maybe like in
Mm.
August, September, before the next gen platforms out and people move on to that. Although they did say you can play The Last of Us on PS5. I don't know. I'm assuming that's probably going to happen with Ghost of Tsushima as well.
Yeah, I presume so. I presume they'll be on both. Um,
Mm.
there was a report in regards to the PS5 that uh, from Kotaku, so take it with a pinch of salt. Apparently, there's a little report going around that the PS5 will be like limited quantities this year when it releases.
Yeah.
Like I said before, I was kind of expecting this anyway. I'm not really surprised if that it happens to be the case.
As long as people aren't doing, the whole Black Friday climbing over each other. I've got to get some epic gaming done.
Uh, the only other news was that apparently there was a report that came out that Rockstar were going to be working on GTA 6. No
Ah,
one's
yeah.
surprised.
Yeah, apparently this is their next one,
Yeah,
which, I mean, I'm hyped for like a GTA 6, but I'm like, mate, just give me that. But give me a Bully 2. Give me a LA Noir 2. Give me Max Payne 4. You know,
yeah.
I hope it's not just GTA Red Dead, GTA Red Dead, GTA Red Dead.
And the thing is, as well, is that like we're ages away from a GTA 6 anyway. Like as long as GTA
With
Online is making the money.
that was the weird one. People were saying it's still like very early in development,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm like 7 years has passed since GTA 5 came out, and
Uh,
Red Dead 2 came out 8 years after the first one. I thought we would probably be getting it next year, but
not the
apparently it's meant to
case.
be releasing smaller as well. Like, it's going to be smaller, and then they add to it as after it comes out.
Yeah, I don't like that. I'd rather they just take their
I
time and
don't know
make
how
a
I feel.
decent
Yeah,
game. Like,
yeah,
I don't want a half complete game. Like,
yeah.
that's my problem with that. I'd rather you take as much time as you need, give us something that isn't half finished. That's more fun, in
Mm.
my opinion.
If they did what they did with GTA 5, when the game came out, but then the multiplayer came out like a few weeks later, I'd be okay with that. And I get that. Although I know that they've put like a load of their time into GTA Online, I get that was to like make the money to then make Red Dead 2. Because could you imagine pitching Red Dead 2? Yeah, we're
Mhm.
going to make this depressing cowboy drama of a guy who gets really sick. And I mean,
Oof.
oh, spoilers, but but,
Oof. Oh,
yeah.
no, that's
Imagine take the most exciting cowboy thing you could think of and just add miserable misery to it. I mean, I love Red Dead 2. I think it's the best thing I've ever played, but
I
yeah.
like Red Dead 2. I mean, there are some missions in it which are a little bit of a chore, and the story kind of drags. But I still enjoyed it, and I would definitely argue that Arthur Morgan is a better character than John Marston.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I know GTA 6 is probably going to be great. I just wonder what they're going to do with it. Are they going to, because 5 was very much like a parody of pop culture.
Yes.
Are they going to keep that going? Or are
So
they going to do more of like, because 4 was very, felt like a Scorsese movie. I hope they go back to like the one character though as well.
so apparently, I don't know if it's true, but the rumors had it that they weren't looking to go forward to our current time period and remain there because they had an issue with GTA 5 being that they couldn't keep up with the satire of real life.
Yeah, I can see that.
So there were rumors going around that apparently it might be the 80s.
Oh, can
So,
we not?
so you know what that
Can we
means?
end this 80s boner that everybody has? Like the 80s are
Cocaine,
cool,
my
but
friend.
there are other time zones that other time zones happened. People act like it's today, like oh, past equals 80s now. It's like the 60s were way cooler.
If we do get the 80s, it's going to be, your cocaine. Uh,
Wasn't that
like,
the whole thing of like Vice City? That was like the
I think
80s
so,
one, wasn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's just a rumor. Like, I don't know how true it is.
Mm,
But we'll see what they do with it. It's still a while away. And,
mm.
like, to be fair, you're still going to end up buying it. It's GTA.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, I know it's gonna be good.
Yeah,
That's the thing. That's why I'm like, I was so surprised that it's so early in development. I
and
thought after GTA 5, maybe they'd be like, oh, okay, let's get another one going as soon as, because I know they with Red Dead 2, they the guy who plays Arthur Morgan said he was doing voice work for like 5 years.
oof,
Yeah, they started recording that in 2013. How
damn,
mad is that? That script was ready since 2013 and nothing leaked of it.
that's impressive. You know.
Yeah, like I knew that there were leaks like, oh, it's going to be a prequel and it's going to be a part of the gang, but no one knew what the story was.
So,
That's mad.
but no, it will be interesting to see what they do with it because, like, even though like a lot of people don't like Red Dead, there's still a lot of new stuff that Red Dead does. Um,
Mm.
in terms of stuff that people don't like.
I like the more mature adult story that Red Dead gives.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
think so. I agree
I
with that.
like GTA, but it's very much like I'm a story guy. And although
Yeah,
GTA had a fun one, I did like the more. I felt more connected to the one in Red Dead.
I'd
I
argue
felt
it felt
I felt there were way more memorable experiences in Red Dead 2 than there were in GTA
it
5.
felt a bit more real and authentic. Because the thing with
Mm.
GTA, I love heist things and everything like that. Don't get me wrong, I love the whole
Oh yeah, that
heist
was
aspect.
great.
But it just felt it
There was
felt
also a bit in GTA 5 where Michael trips on acid and he gets abducted by
yeah,
aliens and he flies out over Los Santos in his underwear. Do you remember that?
it just felt more
Remember that?
comical than like.
And there was like Trevor Phillips, just that whole character.
I
You
really
know,
don't like Trevor as a character.
he's good in small doses. I think it kind of wore thin quite quickly, but
I always liked Michael the most.
Michael I thought was funny because I just like playing as like a dad. I just thought that was funny. Just a dad. Is that all for them when it comes to news?
I believe that is everything for now.
Awesome. Well, let's wrap it up, I guess, with the poll. So for a poll,
Yes.
so many movies now are being moved to the month of November. We've got No Time to Die. We've got Black Widow. We've got Kong versus Godzilla. We've got Pixar's new movie Soul. So the poll, I guess, is, and you can put this down in the comments below if you watch this on YouTube. Write down, what film are you most excited for in November? I've just looked up movies coming out in November 2020, and I
Yeah.
completely forgot to add this one: Clifford the Big Red Dog.
They're making a movie of that?
Do
What?
you remember Clifford the Big Red
Yes,
Dog?
I do.
Oh, that's good. Oh,
Oh
it's gonna
wow!
flop
Like
so hard.
as soon as you said it, I just like had flashbacks.
Yeah,
Damn, I didn't know that was being made.
yeah. Oh,
No,
how much money do you think that's gonna make? Like,
I'm
not much.
I'm actually looking forward to that now. Out of just
Big,
interest.
the big CGI red dog.
Amazing. Oh,
Lovely.
fantastic.
Right, I think that's pretty much all of it for now.
Alrighty.
Yeah, I don't think you have any social media to follow to plug, do you? Do
Uh,
you? I can't
Not yet.
remember.
I will do. I will do next
Yeah,
episode. I'm pretty sure.
yeah. I'm Alex C. Winfield on Instagram. That's like my go-to social media that I use. Right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Feel free to leave all your comments on all the topics we discussed below. Make sure to follow us on YouTube, and we're going to try and put the podcast on lots of other platforms such as SoundCloud and iTunes. It might not be the right away, but we'll let you know when that happens. Yeah, until then, I'll speak to you guys next week. Say bye, Birkin.
Yes. Goodbye, my friends, and I'll see you guys next week.